Okay, looks like we're all set. So I am John Carson. I'm the sales manager with Inland Northwest Broadcasting. I've been broadcasting in our family of 9 radio stations that serves the Palouse, the LC Valley, the Camas Prairie, and a little bit beyond. And I'm here today with Mike O'Brien from the Best Western Plus University Inn in Moscow. Mike, you are the general manager?
I am, yes.
Excellent. And Mike, the reason why we're chatting today is, as we were talking about off of the call here, our goal is to give business leaders on the Palouse and the LC Valley and beyond a sense of some of the tough leadership decisions, navigations that everyone's facing in this time with the crisis and panic and outbreak of COVID-19. And so, Mike, we wanted to get a sense of how, I guess, just give us a sense of how this has been impactful to your business and a snapshot of what are some of the short-term things that you're doing to navigate this.
Sure. Yeah, this has been a challenging time for many businesses. I would venture a guess that the travel industry as a whole is one of the harder hit industries across the globe. Air travel and also hospitality are losing billions of dollars, and we're part of that. We have a little ecosystem here on the Palouse with the two universities, and when that shut down, it greatly impacted both communities for sure, and especially our hotel. As you know, we have 173 rooms here at the Best Western, plus we have a full-size convention center for large groups, and of course we have our in-house Seasons restaurant, all of which have been pretty much shut down. So yeah, this has impacted us greatly. We've probably had to lay off around 85 employees and only have about, I'd say about 12 managers working currently. The only silver lining as far as like the layoffs go is, the $600 per week stimulus that was passed. I hear some of the Washington employees are getting that, and some of the Idaho employees are right now, but there's still some that aren't receiving it. So that's a challenge for them. But it is going to be back paid, backdated, I guess. So once that comes through, they should be actually making more money than what they would be here. I just really hope that the state of Idaho can get everybody covered here quickly, because it's been several weeks that they've been not paid. Some small steps that we're just taking, we're kind of getting ready. As everybody knows, Governor Little has released the updates, our staged updates as far as opening. So we'll be able to get back to opening our restaurant May 16th. That's stage 2. Currently we're in stage 1. We are doing curbside and delivery services for in-room guests, and then of course curbside delivery for people calling in. We're doing DoorDash through Seasons as well. So we are doing a little bit of business as far as food revenue goes. Rooms, we still have some construction projects in town. The arena project at U of I is still going, so that's a positive. We are getting some construction room nights there. The MZ project in Moscow, so that's a plus. But primarily the independent traveler is just not traveling right now. Everybody's staying at home, which is what needs to happen. And beyond, again, we're just trying to lay the groundwork now for people to come back and the restaurants to open. So we're setting up a lot of safety procedures and sanitation procedures. So we will be prepared when things do get back up and running. We're getting all the PPE for us and our guests who request it. Everybody's going to go through training here this next week on proper protocols and procedures as far as that goes. So the safety part of it's going to be covered. As far as what the future looks like for us and the travel industry as a whole, it's not pretty. I'm not going to lie. It's going to take 12 to 18 months to rebound. A lot of our industry experts are saying that hospitality is going to take maybe 2-3 years to get back to 2019 levels before COVID. So it's going to take a while for us to get it back, but it is going to come back.
Before we started the call, Mike, I was mentioning things like the Mom's Weekend, and if you're not on the Palouse listening to this, then it's something that happens at all universities across the country, and for our WSU Pullman campus, who has over 20,000 undergraduates on the Pullman campus. Obviously, lots of family coming to town those weekends, and sort of those benchmark travel weekends for the Palouse and for our businesses like yours. Are there opportunities? I know there's been rescheduling, but when I talk to folks about radio and advertising in our inventory, I equate it to your industry. And I say, an unsold or an unused room is revenue loss because you can't re-grip that revenue, right? You can't bring it back. With things being moved around a little bit in terms of postponements, is that going to be any way to capture some of that revenue, or do you consider that revenue lost and, hey, we got to look at the move forward strategy?
We are going to get a little bit of it back, as far as them rescheduling, say graduation in August. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, absolutely. Or anything that's moving, postponements to a later date. Is that going to be an opportunity still, or?
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit of an opportunity. It's not going to be the full opportunity. And why I say that is we typically already have, a fair amount of occupancy in that month already. So what we're doing is we're displacing what we would have got with graduation. So yes, we are going to make a little bit more money then, but again, we're just kind of displacing what would have been. So sure. I still count that as a loss. And I think most people do too.
Yeah.
And, there's a lot of studies out there that when a traveler comes and stays, you mentioned, a room, when a traveler comes and stays at any hotel room, there's been studies done that they spend 35% of their total budget on their room night. The other 65% is spent out in the community on dinner, dining, entertainment, gas.
Right.
And so the economic impact for a business of mine is huge on the local community, because everybody stays here and at the Fairfield or at the Courtyard, the Marriott products, they go out and they spend money in our communities. And again, the travel industry, hospitality in general, has been hit, extremely hard during this.
Absolutely. One thing that's come up in conversation with our industry is sort of what will the new normal be? I know you talked about a timeline of maybe 24, 36, 48 months, maybe more, before we return to a rate of revenue for your industry that's comparable with where we were at last year. Is there any reinventing of the wheel in the short term in terms of things that can be done for revenue? And I'm not trying to hash into the last question at all, but will there be any short-term reinventing of the wheel for the hospitality industry?
Currently, I'm not seeing it.
Okay.
I'm not seeing the reinvention. Again, it all depends on the consumer confidence, and people just aren't ready to get out and travel, especially on airlines. I think the airlines are going to be the last to respond. There's some people that are itching to get out and get some fresh air. Sure, those people are going to drive to the destinations. I just don't think, and what I'm hearing again from industry experts is they're not going to be taking these airplanes across the country or across the globe anytime soon.
Yeah.
So, and that's going to affect the global market as far as hospitality. One of the numbers I was seeing is pre-COVID occupancy in the United States was about 69% occupancy. Right now, the average is about 15%, which is basically just awful. There's over 4,000 hotels across America that have closed their doors currently.
Wow.
So, the models is saying, next year we're going to be in the 40% occupancy levels. And that's frightening because a lot of hotels can't sustain or keep their doors open at that kind of pace. So there's just a lot of uncertainty in our market for sure.
Is there any help? I know you talked about some of that national relief coming to some of the employees. Is there any help that comes from the Fed in terms of helping with the time being, considering there isn't really a Hail Mary play in the playbook right now?
Right. So the one thing that's on the table is the PPP loan.
Right.
And that really only covers about 8 weeks of financials. It was designed to cover your payroll.
Right.
You could apply for 2.5 times the amount of a certain number that you put forward. But that's only going to get people through 2 months of business. And this thing is definitely going to last a lot longer than 2 months. So I've heard rumor that there's another economic stimulus in the wings. We don't know yet what that's going to entail, but it's not going to be enough. And again, the government can't sustain the entire U.S. economy for as long as this is going to last, and that's just my own opinion.
Sure. No, it's a valid point. Printing money doesn't seem to work well in situations where that's been done. So,
right.
I guess, is there anything? I know you're heavily involved in local leadership. For folks who don't know, I know that I should have clarified this beforehand. I know that you have been a board member of the Moscow Chamber, and we will have a conversation too with Jenny Ford about what's happening with the chamber, and that will also be posted as part of this series. But is there any sort of regional conversations with business leaders as to some things to do in the meantime, or are just conversations that are happening that would be interesting to our listeners?
Sure. I am the president of the chamber, of the board of the chamber right now. I've been working side by side with Jenny and the board on many things, and I just want to say Jenny and her team's been doing a great job with keeping the community abreast of the local places that are open for delivery and the grocery stores and what they're providing as far as sanitation levels or curbside delivery. Just a bunch of different things. The biggest thing that came out of it, working with the chamber, is really just shop local. If you can eat out, once a week at a locally owned restaurant, please do so. These are the folks that are going to struggle the most, and some of them may not be able to keep their doors open after this is over. And that's really sad to think about and even hear if it does happen. But I'm sure that there are going to be some shops that close their door permanently. So if you can do anything locally, spend your dollars at a local shop. If you're looking to go on Amazon to go, to get that free shipping, see if one of your local shops can get it to you instead. Even if you're paying $5 more, support that local shop. That's the most important thing.
Absolutely. Now we know the biggest revenue for you, obviously the rental of rooms, the rental of the convention center space, some of the other things that you do to drive revenues like events and what have you. What are ways that people who are local can be supporting? Obviously you mentioned Seasons offering takeout and delivery through DoorDash. What are the ways that people can locally who are on the Palouse can support the university in?
Sure. No, it's a great question. Yeah, Seasons is open. We are shut down on Sundays and Mondays, but Tuesday through Saturday, give us a call, order some great food. We can bring it to you curbside. You can pick it up inside, or of course, DoorDash can deliver it for you. The convention center is closed, and it'll remain closed until probably halfway through June. But we will start to book meetings and such after that. We are currently trying to work out social distancing in a convention center, which is just a a nightmare to figure out how to get, each person requires 36 square feet of distancing. So that's hard to work out.
Yeah.
So, we're going to try to reinvent what meetings look like in the future. And hopefully, with the vaccine or whatever else comes, these things will be lifted quickly. But our rooms are still open, and we are going to be pushing staycations here pretty quick. Come and stay and play at the Best Western. Book a room and bring your kids and go swimming. All of our rooms are cleaned thoroughly and sanitized thoroughly. Best Western has a national initiative right now. We will have the cleanest hotel rooms in the nation. We use UV wands to sterilize everything in the room. Our employees are going to be trained on proper sanitization going forward. We have distancing protocols in place now, so you can feel safe if you come and stay with me.
Awesome. I also saw a promotion that I think was put out by the Chamber of Commerce last week that if you're sick of your home office, get your home office set up there and have a little a change of space, change of attitude, right?
Yeah, so we're calling it just your own personal Zoom room.
I love it.
Basically, you can just rent a day use guest room, use our Wi-Fi. You can get room service. It even comes with a free drink because we know that, the workday is stressful. So we'll deliver a beer or a cocktail to your room. It's free of kids. So if you're working at home and you have a couple kids in the background and you have an important meeting, come over to my place, rent a room, $39. You can have the Zoom room for the day. Bring your bathing suit because after that long meeting, you can jump in the hot tub and relax with your glass of wine that we're going to deliver to you. I think it's a great deal. And that's day use only. That's not an overnight stay.
Sure. Gotcha. So, that's very creative, and hopefully for the folks listening, if they've got some opportunity for this, they definitely capitalize on this. I think it's a great idea.
Thank you.
I know that we had worked a little bit together on the planning of the Moscow Comedy Festival, and I think that that's something that you're hoping will return in the future. Is that something that you hope happens this year, or are you maybe thinking 2021 is a better look for that?
No, we finally secured a date. I'm pleased to announce. I haven't publicly announced it, but I'll announce it now.
Okay, wow.
October 15th to the 17th. That's a Thursday through Saturday. We got the dates secured with the Kenworthy Theater. We are partnering with the Kenworthy on that. October 15th to 17th, we'll have 20 comedians competing for $5,000. We're going to have a special headlining show on that Friday night, and we will have some extra breakout shows at some of our community shops downtown, Cafe Artista, Palouse Juice, and then the Garden Lounge. We'll have some side shows, and I'm really looking forward to this. The fall can't come soon enough. I think people are going to be anxious to get out, get some laughs, get some drinks, get some friends together, and just have a good night out and a good time.
Those things that we took for granted, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Well, you heard it here first, folks, that we've got a rescheduling and dates confirmed for the Moscow Comedy Festival. I am enthused to hear that, and absolutely look forward to October and getting back to sitting in a group, enjoying a cocktail or a beer, and watching great comedians come from all over the place to our humble community and enjoying world-class comedy. So we really appreciate your efforts on that, Mike.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Anything imparting words you want to leave to other business leaders in the community or region who might be inclined to listen to our content today, Mike?
I just communication with your staff members. A lot of them are at home right now, not knowing what's going on. And us as leaders, we don't know that much either. But I think it's our responsibility to try to stay up on current events as much as possible, and pass that down to your employees, because again, they may not have the resources that the managers do. I just think it's important to be in contact with them as much as possible, reassure them that there is some light at the end of the tunnel. And if there isn't, be open and honest about it. Say, hey, this is what I think you need to do because the future is uncertain. Again, I think it just all comes down to communication, and that needs to happen with your employees.
Sound advice. We really appreciate your time today. Again, folks, if you didn't listen to the intro and you skipped around a little bit, you're listening to Mike O'Brien, General Manager at the Best Western Plus University in Moscow. Also Chamber Board President for the Moscow Chamber of Commerce. And again, Mike, we really appreciate your perspective today and the time spent with us. Thanks again.
Thank you.